I'm not really certain um, when the abuse began, but I'd like to share something from my heart that personally happened to me. And this is another reason why I really um, stress about us addressing trauma in people, especially individuals we love and hold dear to us. Um, So I know around, I guess, 7, 8 years old, um, we were living in Nebraska, and man, we had a good time. I remember I have fond memories of us and my stepfather, Ernest Leonard, and my mom, Catherine Leonard. Um, it seemed like we had a great relationship. We had a great time, and we had community events outside. He was in the military, and so in the Air Force, and so I remember living in an apartment area. Um, can't remember the name of it, but nevertheless, um, all the parents, it didn't matter the culture, white, blacks, I mean, all of them. Everybody would be outside in the evening, and I remember all the kids. We'd have our bikes, and we would ride. We favored Evil Knievel, okay? so um so I think the parents helped build the ramp that we jumped, but nevertheless, I remember us jumping that ramp and having a good time. And I remember, I want to say my stepfather got the bike and wanted to show him. One of the parents grabbed the bike and show how to jump the ramp, and jumped and didn't quite make it right. Had a little problem with it, but it was hilarious. And I remember um, him being just a great man. Just he took me fishing. He would wake me up early in the morning. Hey, you want to go fishing? And we'd go off, or we'd go out hunting. He'd teach me how to shoot. And man, he had this canoe that had a little motor on the back of it, and he'd load that thing into the car, and we would go out and go fishing at the lakes. And I just remember just wonderful things. I remember one day I had some trouble with someone chasing me through the neighborhood, and this is when we had moved on what we call Capehart at that time, and a kid was chasing me wanting to fight, and I'm hollering, "Daddy, Daddy," and he comes outside and protects me. But he also, at that time, he said, "Never run from anybody ever again." And then, you know, it was it was forceful. It was like, I will hold you and allow them to beat you, and then I'm gonna beat you. So, but something changed. Um, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it became just relentless. Like, you just didn't know the individual you were dealing with. Um, Became very um, violent, um, argumentative, or just angry. I guess just angry. And then all of a sudden, the switch, excuse me, would flip. And so what I'm saying is, I'm not certain what happened. I i was confused. I felt like all the attention was directed toward me. As a kid, it was like, it got to a point where I hated him. um, I literally prayed to God as a child, "I want you to strike him dead, Lord." I remember that. And I don't. And I also remember coming to a point where forgiveness was involved. But my point is, I understand something's happening to people. it didn't start out that way. And now I will say this: I did get a memoir from my aunt, um, and it was his memoir, and it opened my eyes. Unfortunately, I didn't get this memoir until I was in my 50s, I'm gonna say, and so uh, it opened my eyes that something happened, whether it was the military, regret, something, and I know drugs were involved at some point, but he changed, and I have a lot of thoughts and reasonings for things, and I'll share those at a later point. But he was not the same individual that I knew um, in Capehart and the apartment areas. He was the go-to guys where all the community would come. And so when we had a party or a bash, all the parents would show up, and they would, he had the real to real player, and had the music playing and the bar up, and all the parents would be drinking and dancing and having a great time, people going in and out of the house. And it didn't matter what culture you were, everybody was coming in and out, and the kids would have part of the show, we'd be dancing along with them. And so it was great. I mean, if there was a time with the community get together and play football, and I remember the dads, I think it was the dads against the kids one time, and I think the kids with the dads at another time, and it was great. But something changed, and it got real ugly. It really did. And I'm not speaking to you from a person of hurt. Okay, let's get that clear. I am healed, I am whole, but I have an understanding now of some things change people. Events and trauma change people. And I think this is why the Lord wants us to forgive and forget, because these individuals sometimes, I think there's no grid. We aren't taught how to protect ourselves from trauma and these events. So I want to change that to where we help people through trauma, help people talk them through, because we assume another identity trying to self-protect, and trying to guard those areas that hurt. And this is my perspective, guys. Listen, I've been seeing a lot, and so now all I see is hurting people that need help, regaining their identity of love. I don't believe we were all made to hate people. I don't believe we were all made to hurt people, or came out desiring to hurt people. I think things happened, and we sit, I know for me, by myself at night and meditate on what happened, and then I got my own defense system and said, this is what I'm going to do the next time such and such happens. If this happens again, blah, blah, blah. And it is not who I am. It's not who I was created to be. So, guys, pray for these individuals who are going through changes. It's tough. It's tough when you're not allowed to speak of things, especially if you're in the military. You're not allowed to speak of things that you're going through, especially in his case. He was in a situation where there was secretive things going on. And so I won't get involved in that, but explain all that right now. But I know he was in Turkey and going through some things, because I know he called and was very emotional and crying at that time. So there were some things he was going through, and I just remember hearing some of the conversation with my mom. But it turned my heart to where I was happy that they were getting a divorce when that time came. And I think those things, we just weren't able to help him. I don't know if we understood it at that time. So But now I believe I understand a lot more and have some knowledge of some of these things. So, guys, pray for one another. Especially if you've experienced someone who has changed in your life, especially if you have a teen that's changed, something's changed. And if you can get, I know they say counseling, etc. I don't know counseling as much. I've been through some counseling, but none of the ones I've experienced pointed to the trauma, or maybe I didn't understand they were trying to point to the trauma in my life, but I now understand and see what those things are. So, guys, I just pray God's blessings on you, and encourage you. Your identity, our identity, we were created from love. Love is our identity, and therein lies our protection, our influence, and our passion. Blessings on blessings, guys. We are love.